later, and we can upload it to YouTube for anyone else who's interested. Can everyone see my screen? All right, excellent.
Yeah.
All right, so without further ado, everyone, welcome to the IEEE UAlbany Student Branch General Interest Meeting. This meeting is primarily going to consist of me going over first what the IEEE is as an international organization, followed by our special guests, Professor Boyer and Professor Moulic, who are going to be talking about their experiences as IEEE Life Fellows. And then I'm going to get into some of the stuff that we're going to be doing this semester as the UAlbany IEEE Student Branch. So look forward to all of this. And then at the end, we actually have Robin presenting a small project proposal or about stuff that an opportunity for you guys to get involved with doing some cool projects. So without further ado, I will tell you a little bit about the IEEE as an international organization. So the first thing everyone always wants to know about the IEEE is, well, what does the IEEE stand for? So the IEEE stands for the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, which it's quite a mouthful. So we just shorten this down to IEEE most of the time. So what we actually do, the core statement behind the organization is that its core purpose is to foster technological innovation and excellence for the benefit of humanity. And you can see that right under their logo as well, advancing technology for humanity. And that's really what the organization primarily focuses on. So a lot of people also wonder, like, okay, that's a great mission statement, but how do they go about doing this? So the way that we go about doing this is through a variety of large-scale publications and conferences. IEEE publishes almost 1/3 of the world's technical literature in electrical engineering and computer science. And they also host over 1,900 annual conferences, which when you think about that, that's absolutely insane. That's more than one conference a day. So the IEEE is also one of the leading publishers of standards that underpin a lot of information technology. The easiest example of this that comes to mind, what everyone's probably used, is the IEEE floating point standards for storing floating point numbers in binary. That's one of the most popular. That's anytime you've ever used a floating point operation on anything, which is honestly probably every application you've ever used, you are being impacted by a standard that the IEEE has set. So who are the IEEE? The IEEE is a massive organization and has people from all fields all over the world. We have, at the moment, I believe it's almost 500,000 members from over 160 countries. And surprisingly, more than 50% of those are outside of the US. So it really is a global organization with lots of people. And we also are composed of lots of different communities, including this right here, the IEEE Student Branch. We're one of those various communities that the IEEE, uses to spread its message and host all of these events. So I'll take a moment to talk about IEEE membership with you. So the IEEE has various grades of membership. It's an organization that can be participated in throughout your entire life. So to start off, this isn't a full list of the IEEE member grades. There's a few more mixed in here, but I've just gone over the core ones that we have here. There's also a life prefix that can be added on to most of these. So to start off, we have student members, which that's us, all of us students earning 3 to 5 year degrees in IEEE designated fields. And then you have member grade, which is professionals who have met educational requirements or have 6 years of experience in IEEE designated fields. You have senior members who have 10+ years of professional practice and have achieved significant performance or achievements or responsibility or management in any of these IEEE designated fields. There's a few more requirements here, which I will not go into, but finally, the pinnacle of IEEE achievement is the IEEE Fellow member. And this is only available by nomination, and you must have extraordinary achievement in an IEEE designated field. And interestingly, only 0.1% of members can become fellows each year, to give you an idea of just how prestigious this award is. So we are greatly honored to have 2 IEEE Life Fellows here with us today to talk about their experiences with the IEEE. So who better to talk about their experiences with the IEEE organization than one of our first special guest speaker, IEEE Life Fellow, Kemal Boyer. So Professor Boyer, he's had an extraordinary career, and it's been quite hard to fit all of his achievements onto this single slide, but feel free to look it over. And I will let him speak about, his experience with the IEEE, what it's done for him, and his journey to becoming an IEEE Life Fellow.
Am I on?
Yes, you're on. We can hear you.
Okay.
Thank you for
All right.
coming.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming. It's an honor to have you.
Thanks, James. That was very nice, to the point of being somewhat slightly embarrassing, but thank you so much. When you asked me to talk about, gee, what has the IEEE meant to me and so forth, I thought about that a little bit. I didn't want to get too caught up into it or too syrupy about it or anything like that. But it has been a focal point of my career. It has been the place, it's been my go-to place for information that I need to do my work. And that includes not just my research, but going back to when I was in industry. I was at Bell Laboratories, and I was also at ComSat Laboratories, back when those were both good places to be. And at ComSat, one of the things I worked on, as a matter of fact, was image compression for video teleconferencing. But that was in 1981 or thereabouts. And so it was a very difficult thing to do in those days. My implementation, which looks a lot like what we would call MPEG or whatever today, but that term had not yet been invented in terms of how it worked. But it was a 19-inch rack that was about 6 feet high. And now, for those of you who can see me, you can do it on your phone, right? But that was a big deal. And here we are now, sitting here, video teleconferencing, and it's the most natural thing in the world. To you guys, it's just like breathing, right? But this is one of these back in the day, when I was your age kind of stories. But when I was, your age, that was a big lift. It was considered to be something that was very ambitious to even try to do. And where I learned a lot of what I needed to know to do that job was in the library, looking at IEEE journals and books written by IEEE members who were authors and so on. So it was, it was a place where it was sort of my go-to place for all that information, and it still is all these years later. It's also been a place where I've met and fostered unbelievably great friendships over the years. If I'm stuck for some reason in Australia or Korea or Switzerland or whatever, and I need a place to crash for the night, there's probably somebody I can get a hold of and say, hey, can I come sleep on your couch? Just because I've been able to build those friendships over the years with the work I've done with all these great folks. So it has really been a pretty special thing for me. It's been a home in many ways, not a physical home so much as a mental and emotional home, but it's been a home. And I could go on and on and on and on, but I won't, because that'll bore all of you to death. But that's sort of what, I guess that's kind of what it means to me. And you're right that it is an enormous organization in many ways. I had a colleague when I was at RPI who was from a much smaller scientific community in material science, and she was suggesting that there was something we wanted to promote or whatever. She goes, well, when you go to your annual conference where all of you guys get together, because in their field they had like one conference a year where everybody went. And I had to explain to her, Linda, that's not the case for us. I didn't know how many it was. Now I do, 1,900. I said, we have hundreds and hundreds of conferences because we're such a large, diverse group of engineering scientists. It's a very large amoeba in electrical and computer engineering and computer science. And a lot of physicists and so forth represented there as well. I said, so that's part of what makes it such an interesting group of people, because I have so many people from different areas, generally working on a fairly focused range of problems, but it's a wide variety of people that get involved. And their tagline about advancing technology for humanity is not in many ways very different from the one we've adopted for the college, which is science and service to society. Of course, the college is more broad than just ECE and computer science, obviously. So I think of that mission statement as encompassing all of engineering. But that's really what it's about, and it's consistent with IEEE's position as well. And with that, I think I will stop. I'm glad to see all you guys interested in this, and I wish you guys all the best. And I will stick around for Professor Moulic's remarks, and then I will probably slide out because I have not yet had dinner. So if you
That's
don't
fine.
mind,
Don't worry about that at all.
I'll do that. And
Thank
with
you for
that,
coming in the first place.
with that,
Yeah,
I'll now shut up. Okay. Thanks again, everybody.
No, thank you so much for speaking. So next we have our special guest, James R. Moulic, who's going to now. James R. Moulic, Professor Moulic, he's had an extraordinary career in industry, and we're now honored to have him here at SUNY Albany teaching. He's had incredible success in industry, which I would like to first. I'd like to give the talk myself about all. I'd like to go on and on about his list of achievements, but I'll let him do that for himself. So, without further ado, Professor Moulic, would you like to begin your talk?
As soon as I unmute myself, yes. So, okay. I get my relationship or interaction with IEEE goes back to my graduate school days, 1971, 1972, and 3. I mean, I was one of these kind of people who was born to be an engineer. I was born into an engineering family. My father was an engineer. My uncle was an engineer. So I was going to be an engineer, and actually I liked being an engineer. It was good, but I really didn't know what IEEE was. I wasn't involved with that until I got into graduate school, and as Dean Boyer had said, and when I got into graduate school, I started doing research. I started the foundation to do my graduate master's thesis and such, and I basically kept digging, pulling. Is the old, you get a string and keep pulling on the string, of finding this stream of papers relevant in a technology field, and just as Dean Boyer said, these all came out of various corners and pieces of IEEE journals, and they were just a tremendous wealth of information about just science and engineering, and how to conduct research, how to present research, how to decide what good research to do is. It helped to formulate and help me form what I wanted to do in the research field. So that's when I started. I was actually, just before we got on here, I went off to the IEEE site, because as you get older, and you remember you didn't say what the requirements for a life member were. It's your years of service and age have to be over 100. So I won't say how well, I won't break mine down at all, but regardless, at any rate, as I started work back in 1973 at IBM, I came out with a fire on my tail to do some good research at the IBM laboratories, and it was IEEE again that sort of shaped it. Within the first 6 months that I got out and into industry, I had a written paper and accepted into a conference at an IEEE conference out on the West Coast. So I was publishing away. I wrote things in graduate school, but I didn't submit them for a master's degree. So I learned that. Throughout all of my years of industry, and I sort of balanced it with this research interaction with the IEEE community. And as Dean Boyer said, it was a tremendous asset, a resource of information, information and contacts and collaborators across the world. Literally, yes, you'd have a friend. I'd have a friend on the West Coast that worked for Boeing. I have a friend down in Texas who worked for TI. I have a friend in Florida. I have a friend in Japan. So it really, from me coming out of the Midwest on the farm out to New York, I then all of a sudden had global stretch and contacts, and that was the IEEE. That was the IEEE who helped to do that. So I know I leveraged all of their resources, and as you'll see, it's you get out of it what you put into it. I put in lots of extra work to IEEE. It's the things, what you're doing now. Open to organize the meeting. And I'm sure Dean Boyer has an equally long list of contributions in helping to organize a meeting, a session in a meeting, running a conference, structuring a complete conference and all the local arrangements, that kinds of stuff, reviewing papers. Those are to me, they're career enriching experiences. So those were good things. I think I didn't, for a good long stretch of time, I had no concept of, well, I'm an IEEE member. I don't know anything about the trajectory up the scale of what a member, a senior member, or a fellow is. I don't know. I didn't. So I'm pleased to see you're thinking about that at this age, at this time. That's good. I think the first time that I encountered that, I was working for a fellow in the IBM Watson Research Center who had done graduate work at Stanford back in the mid '60s on a thing called ion implantation. At that time, it was a new field, and there was a fellow from Stanford who said, "Well, we want to nominate this guy to be an IEEE fellow," and so I said, well, can I help you write the nomination? And I didn't, what does that mean? Well, I don't know. That was my exposure to an IEEE fellow. And so I hoped to do that kind of thing. And of course, along that path, I realized, well, to do that, I needed to be a senior member. So I quickly got the paper process so that I was a senior member. It was past 10-year level. But that was my exposure to it. After that, I sort of was heads down again, doing my research and product development kind of work. It was so much fun. I kind of sort of lost track, although I was interactive with IEEE. And it wasn't until, oh gosh, I was nearly ready to retire with 30 years in the company. And one of my friends said over lunch, it's Randy, that's I go by the middle name. He said, why aren't you an IEEE fellow? Look at what you've done. So, and he said, why don't I write your nomination up? And I said, okay. and that's how I got into the IEEE fellow path. But I've continued to contribute to the IEEE and to my peers and collaborators, because not only did I helped try to nominate somebody before I was a fellow. After I was a fellow, I did previews for fellow nominations, and I helped nominate and get others elected to this level too. So it's a very much getting out of it what you put into it. I've tried to put quite a bit into it. Usually I try to be low key about it, but I've put a lot into it. So truly enjoyed it a lot. So I'll stop there, and if you have any questions, I'm happy. I can talk at length about lots of things. So.
Oh, thank you so much for speaking, both of you. No, we really appreciate it. Does anyone have any questions for them? All right. Thank you guys so much for coming. Big round of applause. We really appreciate you guys coming again. It's a great honor to have two IEEE fellows coming out to our student branch meeting. We really appreciate it. Yeah. So from here, we're going to move on to discussing our student branch activities for the semester. Okay, so now we'll talk about what the IEEE student branch is. So we were just talking about the global organization, and we had Dean Moulic and Dean Boyd to discuss their relationship with the global organization. So now we're going to discuss more about what we do here on campus at the student branch and the local level. So the student branch is the SA approved organization that represents the IEEE on campus. We basically reaffirm the motto and everything. We are trying to advance technology for the benefit of humanity, but with what we can do here as students on campus, with all of our resources at our disposals. So the way that we do this is that we provide members with various opportunities to grow their technical skills, and we provide leadership opportunities and hands-on projects. And I will get more into that on the next slides. So now I'm going to tell you a bit about who we are as the IEEE. So we are run by a 6-person team of students from various backgrounds, and we are all qualified to give workshops and everything within our respective fields. So the EBoard is the 6-person team that runs this. So we will each give a bit of an introduction about ourselves. I'll start. My name is James Oswald. I am the chair of the IEEE, if you weren't able to tell by me giving this presentation. I work as a full stack developer with a local company. I also work as an undergraduate researcher with Professor Bogdanov's data mining and management lab. And yeah, I think that's, I'm a senior here at the moment. I will be graduating next year. And I'm a computer science and mathematics double major. So if you need any help with anything, just, please talk to me about it. Yes. So now we will I think we can go down the list in order. Connor, would you like to give
sure, I'll go next.
about yourself? Okay.
Hello, everyone. I'm Connor Walsh. I am a senior here. I'm the vice chair of the student branch IEEE, and I am a computer science major with a math minor, so not a double major. So if you need any math helpful, ask James.
Thank you.
I think that's it. Carolyn?
Hi, I am Carolyn Kaminsky. I am the graduate vice chair of our student chapter, and I'm a PhD student in computer science. I work in the data mining lab. I worked with the EBoard last year to help organize events and workshops. And if you need anything, you can feel free to email me. If you have any questions about IEEE, always feel free to message me on Discord or anything. I'm around.
Josh? Is Josh on?
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
unmuted.
Oh.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joshua, and I'm the treasurer for the IEEE, and I'm a sophomore with computer science and applied mathematics major. And I was a secretary last year as well, and that's about it for me.
All right. Thank you, Josh. Tony?
Hi everyone, I'm Tony. So I am going to be the secretary this year, mostly just keeping track of documents and contacting the student association for various things. I'm going to be a junior this year at UAlbany, and I'm also a computer science and applied mathematics major. And I'm also working with Professor Jaliva's networking lab. And that pretty much includes my experience with research on campus. And yeah, feel free to use me as a resource. I'm looking forward to a good year.
All right. Thank you, Tony. Robin?
Hello, everyone. I'm Robin, and I'm a webmaster. And I'm a senior major in computer science and minor in mathematics. And actually, that's about me. Yeah, for me, yes.
Thank you, Robin. All right, and then finally we have our faculty advisor who was not able to make this meeting tonight, Professor Muckle. He's a very good resource for a lot of things, not just the IEEE, and we are very grateful to have him. All right, so now I'm going to discuss a bit about what we actually offer. So we have quite a few things that we offer. Clearly, these are not normal times or circumstances. So unfortunately, we're not able to offer any of the normal in-person things that we would normally, rent a room out and get a bunch of people together to discuss technical topics and whatnot. Unfortunately, that's not really possible this semester or potentially next semester, but we're going to try our best. And if people are interested in in-person meetings at any point throughout the rest of this semester, next semester, I will work hard to try and make sure we meet all student guidelines or student association guidelines on hosting meetings. So to just start though, I'll go over a bit of what we normally host and what we are continuing to host this semester. So we host technical talks, company talks, workshops, hands-on projects, collaborations, hackathons, interview practice, resume review, and we have leadership opportunities and much more. So I will now go over a few of these topics of what we're actually doing now a bit more in depth. So first of all, our primary meetings this semester are going to be workshops. So basically a workshop is just a topic it's a presentation or on a topic that is more interactive, and it's probably going to be hosted by an EBoard member. We have 11 workshops. We have one every single week. If anyone wants to host a workshop, if you have something that you feel like you would like to host a workshop on, feel free to reach out. We will let any member host a workshop for everyone. So the workshops that, Karen?
We will also willing to collaborate with you on something. If you have an idea, but you're not sure, that we'll get together with you and we'll help you put it together and help you.
No. If you want to give a workshop and you are like, this would be a great idea, I could use some help on it, feel free to reach out. We love to have people present. Presenting is a key skill to, growing your, it's a business skill, giving a presentation. Clearly, I still have some ways to go, if you couldn't tell, but it's a good skill to have. So there are going to be the workshops that we're going to be giving as EBoard. There's going to be 4 types. We're going to be doing new presentations, and these are obviously harder to make. We have to put together an entire slideshow and create, demos on different topics to present. We're going to be doing stock presentations. We have a few presentations left over from last year when we didn't have very good attendance at the end during quarantine. We had maybe 1 or 2 people show up to these. So there are some really good presentations we have. We have an esoteric language workshop. We have a React portfolio workshop. We have how to host a web server workshop. So that's what we have in terms of stock presentations that we could potentially reuse this semester. We're going to have some coding interview practices. I know for all of my developers out there in the computer science department, you probably are familiar with the idea of the whiteboard interview, which is a company, when they call you in to interview you, will give you a whiteboard and basically tell you to write some pseudocode or an algorithm, or they'll let you pick what language you write in, to just implement some basic algorithms, just to make sure that you have that coding mindset that they want, that algorithmic mindset to just implement these basic things. So the best way to practice for that is practicing for that with a real whiteboard, with people to criticize you and discuss what you're doing wrong or what you could be doing better. So coding interview practice workshops will be that'll be interesting. Finally, we're going to have technical watch parties. So there's a lot of great talks out there, and people give talks much better than talks that I could potentially give. So I know the first thing that comes to mind, there is a great talk at Microsoft, Quantum Computing for Computer Scientists, which I would love to have a watch party for and have, a discussion afterwards and discuss the material presented in the talk. So technical watch parties could be very fun. I would like to stress that. Now, you're probably wondering, oh, okay, you've discussed a lot about what kinds of workshops we could have, but you probably want to know, like, what workshops will we have? So for that, we haven't actually decided on many of the workshop topics yet. We've been keeping it open, of course, because we wonder if anyone else would like to insert their own ideas. But we also so for the first workshop, I was planning on doing a GitHub how-to presentation. And I know someone on the EBoard discussed that, you know, we do a lot of computer science stuff, but we are also an electrical engineering club as well. And we really want to integrate a bit more of that side in. So if anyone would like to host any engineering workshops, we're also going to be trying to do a bit of that this semester. So you guys might want to take a picture of this. This is the workshop schedule. At the moment, we're going to be hosting one workshop a week. I want to stress, you're not required to attend anything. You can just come to what looks interesting to you or what you think you would enjoy. So for the workshop schedule, the workshops actually follow an alternating Wednesday-Thursday pattern. This was debated heavily in the EBoard meeting over what schedule we should use, and this was the conclusion that we came to. This schedule seems to work best for giving everyone an opportunity to attend. If you're busy Wednesday nights and you're free Thursday nights, or if you're busy Thursday nights and free Wednesday nights, this gives everyone an opportunity to attend at least half of the workshops. And all workshops are going to be 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, so if you want to take a picture of the schedule we have here for our workshops, go ahead. I will now move on to the next slide. All right, so talks. We are actually going to be hosting some virtual talks from speakers, and we're going to be, hosting that as they come along. We like to prioritize the talks to be at the speaker's convenience rather than our convenience. So these could really be at any time. The topics that are going to be covered can range all the way from professors, industry members, and even company representatives giving overviews of what companies are working on. I don't want to give too many spoilers for what we have lined up, but we may have a Facebook talk lined up. We'll see about that one. Yeah, so we also have a few other talks in the works. So keep your eyes peeled. We'll try and give you at least 1 week of notification for those. So the best part about the IEEE, I maintain this, the IEEE student community, is we have a thriving Discord server, which we have partnered with the official SUNY Albany Discord, the UAlbany Computer Science Discord, and the UAlbany CDO, which this is great. I'm a big fan of all of this online collaboration. So in the Discord, what we've actually been doing is we offer users, normally during, not these dark times that we find ourselves in, we would be hosting meetings that would be, in-person meetings where we all meet up and we talk, we collaborate, we work on projects, we do homework help, we review resumes and whatnot. But unfortunately, due to these circumstances, that's no longer feasible. So what we do instead now is we have a Discord in which, at any time of the day, I'm literally online 24/7. You can just post whatever the heck you want to post in there, and you'll probably get a reply from me or another eBoard member or another member very quickly. We are very active in there. We have a ton of members, and it's great for collaboration. So you can copy this Discord link and take a picture of this and join our Discord at any time if you feel like it. So we also have a number of leadership opportunities this semester. As I believe it was Professor Moulic said at the end there, that working in leadership opportunities, organizing the meetings and getting this all together, it's a very valuable skill set to have to take your technical skills to the next level, especially if you're planning on, being up there in the tech field. You're going to have people under you, and you want to be able to have these meeting arrangement skills and presentation skills and all of these. It's not just technical skills that you want. You want to get, be well-rounded and as a technical professional. So this semester, we are actually also looking for a JBoard or junior eBoard, and they would shadow and assist us with the internal workings of the club, and then they could go on to run. They would go on to run for eBoard themselves. Note, this is not an endorsement. We are not. You do not automatically become the position that you shadowed. You still have to run in the general election if you are a JBoard member. However, you probably wouldn't have much competition. Just saying. So yeah, so if this sounds interesting to you and you want to learn more about the inner workings of the club, yeah, feel free to run for JBoard. That will be done using interviews. So finally, we will gladly take speakers and workshop hosts. If you want to host a workshop or a talk, ask. We will basically 100% say yes. We would love to have any speakers or workshops that you would like to offer. And finally, we are also looking for students to serve as Discord helpers to, just if anyone posts any questions in there, we would like 24/7 coverage of people who, could say, oh, hey, or answer questions, just the normal stuff. All right, so finally, we are offering a personal project this semester, and Robin will be giving a presentation on this. So Robin, take it away.
Okay, hello everyone. So I know like many people like want to have a job and came to computer science to have a great career. And I think I know like many people knows like personal project is like a really important part. And especially like this time of the year and like this time of the like coronavirus stuff happened. I think this is a really good opportunity to improve your career or resume. Can you
Robin,
go to the next?
Yeah, just tell me when to switch slides.
Okay. So first thing about personal project is that you can build your interest. So in the computer science, computer engineering, or informatics class, there might not be interesting things that you wanna learn, or that sometimes it's boring for some people. And building a personal project on what you like and what you want to learn is a great way to build your interest. Like something like sound engineering is not really taught in our school, like robotics engineering, hardware engineering for electrical engineers, and like web development, data science. Those are really good personal project you can have, like many more, way many more. Next slide. And most importantly, resume. So resume is one of the key points for the to get a job. But unfortunately, not everyone is going to be hired. I saw many people graduated this last semester and couldn't get a job because of coronavirus. And in the articles, there's not everyone is actually getting a job, even though it's not a coronavirus thing. So you have to build something that you can write on the resume, and having experience on what you are interested and what you want to work at when you graduate from university. And this is a crucial thing to write on the resume. Next, please. So we're launching IEEE personal project. So we, the ones who want to do participate personal project have to come up with their personal study or personal project that you are interested in. And I don't know why there's question mark, but you want tell us like that you want to work on personal project, and we can check like you have a personal project. So we can, at the end of semester, we can ask you if you want to present or show your personal project that you have done during the semester. I know it is extra work outside of the curriculums, but having own personal project and presenting your work to other people is definitely a good update for your resume. And yeah, that's it for personal projects. Yeah.
Thank you, Robin. That was a great little presentation. No, what Robin is saying is absolutely true. You definitely want a great way to boost your resume is you can work on projects, and as technical professionals, you should be putting your projects on your resume first and foremost. People love to see that you've gone and taken individual initiative outside of school, which the fact that you're all here right now at this IEEE meeting tells me that all of you are people who are passionate about technology outside of just your classes. You really want to show that to employers. And the easiest way to show that to employers is with projects on your resume, clubs on your resume, and it would even be great if you gave a presentation. You could also put that you have given a talk on your resume if you decide that you want to do a workshop or a talk this semester with us. So, oh, Robin posted this. This is a link to...
So this is like a link I'm gonna probably share in the Discord later. This is basically about like not everyone is getting job because of some reason, and they have to work on some sort of things that helps you get a job.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so if anyone has any questions about anything that I've said, feel free to ask them right now. You can join our Discord again at that link. And if you stay tuned in our Discord and you keep watching the email list, we will be hosting we'll be hosting basically one workshop a week. So be prepared to just get a lot more emails from us about what we're doing this semester. So any questions? If you don't feel comfortable asking them in the room with 20 people, which believe me, I don't talk in class at all, so I completely get that, feel free to just private message me on Discord and I will answer any questions that you guys have. Any questions?
Yeah.
Matthew Chung? Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Hello?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So for running for like JBoard and trying to help out, do you guys have like a threshold of how much a person should know? Like I'm a freshman in CS, so my knowledge is CS.
Yeah, no, so we don't have a threshold. We kind of more believe in that you can, it's more of a learn on the job kind of thing. All that we would ask is that you're, to run for JBoard, all we ask is that you're an active member and you come to at least half of the stuff that's going on is probably our threshold. I mean, we have, maybe not half the stuff that's going on, but at least, have a bit of a participation threshold just to keep people who aren't actually, invested in the club out of a leadership position. But no, yeah, even with no experience and as a freshman, we would definitely be happy to have you help out with things.
So
Okay.
like, how should I be a member of this community now?
Oh yeah, so if you want to get more involved, well, first of all, we're going to be primarily the listserv. How did you get the invitation to this meeting? We sent it out in quite a few places.
Like I got in the like CES common mail.
Oh yeah. So the
The group list
CES
mail.
listserv email. The best, so yeah, we're going to be sending out our workshop invites to the CES listserv. So to, be more involved with the community, you can first come to the workshops, ask questions, talk with us. But if you really want to get involved and, talk to us every day or like, see what is going on with the club, definitely you want to join the Discord. In case any of you don't know, and the entire Discord thing went completely over your head, Discord is a messaging application that also has voice over IP support built in. So you can not only have voice chats, you can have text chats, and you can also do screen sharing. In fact, I think most of our workshops are going to be hosted through Discord rather than Zoom, but we'll see what people are feeling.
So I put a invite link in the chat for anyone who's
Yeah,
So-
that's great.
So basically, it's just getting involved on the workshops that gives me the ability to call myself a member of IEEE community, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So there is also a national organization that you can pay a student fee to be a member of. So technically that's great to do, and we do ask you to do that if you're going to be on the EBoard, but
Yeah.
anyone can come to our workshops without joining that.
Yes. If you really want to be a student member, you can come to workshops or you can pay $30. It's your choice. I think coming to cool workshops is probably the better option.
I mean,
And
plus you learn.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what's the procedure to join the JBoard, like that's mentioned?
Yeah, so the JBoard, we're going to be having interviews later on in the semester. We'll definitely send out more information later on that as that comes up. Is
Thank
that
you.
everything? Oh yeah, no problem. Any other questions, anyone?
I have a question.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
How focused is this club on computer software as opposed to computer hardware?
Okay, so that's a really good question. So personally, as a computer science major, and most of our other members are also computer science majors, we have been focusing we focus a lot more on the software side of things. This is obviously, this for all of the computer science majors, this is great, right? Like everyone wants the club to be about their interests. However, we also would like to try and branch into a few workshops this semester on the hardware side of things, because, you know, this is both of the IEEE Fellows we had to speak here tonight, for example, they were both extremely accomplished electrical engineers, which this club also covers. And so we want to kind of we don't want to move away from software. Our core focus still is software, but we do want to have more workshops that focus a bit on the hardware side this semester. I would say probably out of those 11 workshops, maybe 2 are going to be hardware focused. Most of what we're going to be doing this semester is going to be software focused, because that's what most of our club members are. But if you're in this meeting and you're an electrical engineer and you want to hear more electrical engineering meetings, or you want to have more electrical engineering workshops, feel free to tell us that you want more electrical engineering workshops. Otherwise, we're probably going to be progressing primarily with software-oriented workshops. Anything else? Any other questions?
Yeah. So I had a question. Obviously, you guys are gonna obviously link in the Discord and whatnot about the steps towards presenting. But could you give a brief overview of what it takes to create a presentation about a certain topic?
Okay, yeah, no, that's great. And I've also given presentations. So I don't think you should follow my example at all. I'll tell you how I create presentations. I think of a topic that I enjoy, that I'm interested in, right? You want the presentation, you don't want to give a presentation on something you've never seen before. Then you should do a lot of preparation. You want to give a presentation on something that you're very familiar with. This is always you hear this a lot when you talk to people who have just become professors. They'll tell you that, oh, it's extremely hard to teach the material. The core lesson that you want to take away from this is that you want to know a lot more of the material than what you're teaching. If you're just teaching, you don't want to teach something that you've just looked up or learned yesterday. You want to be, experienced in your field and have very broad insight into these general topics that you're teaching. So, I mean, you also want to follow the, keep it simple, stupid pattern, where you don't want to be teaching, we're not going to be giving, big lectures on, the mathematics behind anything. As much as a math major, I would enjoy seeing some of that. But as primarily a software development club, we're going to be focusing more on just the basics of frameworks. You want to really make it an introduction. You want to teach it to someone who, I think it's fair to assume that everyone in this club has experience programming and has experience, they know what a programming language is, right? And they know what a for loop is, what a while loop is, what a function is. If you want to assume anything beyond that, I would say probably assume that they know what a library is and they've used a library before. But that's basically the level at which I make all of my presentations for. I assume that they know like Java maybe, or one programming language they've taken 201, and that's about it. So from there, you can basically go on and introduce any topic that you want to present. I know, for example, last semester, I gave a presentation on how to create your own web server. So I started from scratch and basically just assumed that the person had never used Linux in their entire life, even though most of the members probably have used Linux quite a bit, Linux command line with bash. So I went into just, what the commands are, what they do, and how you would go about setting up an Apache web server and creating pages, SSH, what SSH is, how SSH works. Honestly, I would say that the length of your presentation, I've consistently had presentations, I say this now while I'm giving a 21-page presentation, but most of my my other presentations that I gave last semester were about 40 pages in length, and they took about an hour to get through all the slides, an hour to 2 hours. So in terms of actually going about creating the presentation, I'm sorry I went off on a tangent there, but the process of creating the presentation, you want to pick the topic that you're interested in and you have a lot of experience with, because of course you also want to be able to answer questions, right? So if someone asks a question that wasn't in the presentation, you want to be able to hit back with an answer that, an informed answer on that topic. So you have that, and then from there, I unfortunately always create all of my presentations the night before. I'm very motivated by that deadline coming up, which is not the move. This semester, we are on a good schedule. We're going to create all of our presentations at least 1 week in advance. I say that even though I stayed up until 5 a.m. making this presentation last night. So, yeah, if you, then basically what I do to make the presentation, I start off with sectioning, right? I want to get a broad overview of the topic, and I want to put titles on every single slide. I go down the list and I title every single slide about what this slide is going to be. And then from there, I go in and I put more stuff. And then I make sure at the end, sometimes I'll go back and retroactively put like code examples or like working examples of like code into the slides of what you would want to show people. And normally these workshops are more interactive. So I also, I'm prepared, of course, to actually go in and, guide people along with these examples. So that's my presentation creation, life cycle. Any other questions, anyone? No? Oh, someone
I just
unmuted.
have one. So
Okay.
like as you said, just like there's a paid membership for the IEEE International one, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So like, would you suggest me to take that one now, or like, is it fine of me being a member of this one?
So no, it's 100. So we don't suggest actually buying the student membership unless you're on eBoard. If you're on eBoard, you have to buy the student membership because you need to be logged into their like special software or whatever. And for that, you need an IEEE.
Yeah, I
You
know
actually
that. I've just seen it.
But for the so if you want to become a student member, it's $30 a year. It's not a very big commitment, but what you actually get out of that $30, you basically get all of we're already giving you the presentations for free without you having to be a member of the actual IEEE organization. But if you do pay that $30 a year, you get access to a lot of their online resources, such as there's a newsletter, there's catalogs, there's a lot of resources that you can only access if you do become an official student member. But personally, I haven't been very interested in any of what they're offering. Only full members get access to their free papers and everything, which is what I actually want. So I haven't had that much of a use for the IEEE student member plan. But if for some reason you feel like, oh yes, I want to get the monthly copy of the IEEE Spectrum magazine for free, I mean, you go for it. But other than that, no, there's not much I recommend actually buying the membership for, unless you're on eBoard.
Yeah, and you said that the JBoard will be the information regarding that will be given later of the semester.
Yeah.
Right?
So that's a bit later on. JBoard's probably going to be selected by the end of this semester, and then they're really going to start shadowing and helping next semester. Is the plan.
And can you please explain a bit like what you want to expect from students whom you want to choose in a JBoard?
Yeah, no. So I was on JBoard last year. I served as the junior chair last year. So basically all that I had to do was I created a few workshops and I shadowed the current chair, and she provided me with, all of the info on how to run the club. I assume that most of our other members also were shadowing their respective. Does anyone else on the eBoard want to talk about their experience being a JBoard member?
When I was in JBoard before coronavirus, I was invited to all of the eBoard meetings, and I pretty much just sat there and learned and watched how the current eBoard operated. I didn't really I give my input a little bit, but not too much. So you're pretty much just going to be learning the process of how it works.
Yeah, so that's basically, but in terms of what we're actually looking for on JBoard interviews,
Yeah.
we really just want to make sure we're basically screening for, you know, presentation ability, leadership skills, all of the standard stuff. We really host JBoard interviews kind of like it's more of like a panel interview where the eBoard sits down with you. We're going to ask you about, you know, why you want this position, why you think you're qualified for it. You know, we do want people on the JBoard who have, you know, a bit of technical experience and would feel comfortable giving presentations or getting up in front of a room of 20 people and talking about the IEEE or a technical topic. So that's really what we're looking for in JBoard members, and that's how the JBoard interviews are going to go. I mean, they're definitely going to be virtual, so it's probably just going to be you in a interview room with the rest of with the 6-person eBoard, and probably also Professor Muckle, the faculty advisor, and we'll just ask you some standard questions about, you know, your leadership experience and why you feel qualified for the position. That's what the JBoard interviews are like.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Sorry, like last question
Oh,
maybe.
yeah, go ahead.
So like, how will we be receiving the updates on the coming workshops? Like, do you just mail us, or is there any other procedure?
Yeah,
how
so
we get
we're going to use email, and we'll post them on our Discord, and potentially, depending on, I know we're thinking about getting a few more social media platforms. We're looking into a Twitter and an Instagram, but we also got retweeted by the CES Twitter, who will probably be announcing some of our events. So
like CES, on the CES super list mail, I'll be notified by all the workshops, right?
yeah, they should. So also but primarily the best way to hear about everything that's going on is the Discord. We will be posting frequent announcements and updates in the Discord. Practically,
So like I'm not really sure how the Discord works, so that's the reason why I'm just confused.
yeah, no, that's fine. The only reason we're using Discord is because we have a lot of the people who are in this club were on Discord, so we felt it was appropriate to create the Discord. Discord is, have you ever used Slack before? Discord is very similar to Slack in terms of,
not really.
It also works a lot like internet relay chat, the old way that people used to host.
TeamSpeak.
Oh yes, yeah. It's very similar to all of these. It's an entire genre of online communication platforms that Discord is a member of. So it will, honestly, I would say that learning how to use Discord is actually probably going to be pretty useful in terms of you know, various, it could be useful in your career later on. Even if you're not specifically using Discord, you will learn how to use like pieces of software that are in this genre of internet communication platform. So don't feel bad if you don't know how to use Discord. It's pretty easy to learn how to use, and you'll be getting good experience out of learning how to use it for potentially later on in your career. All right, any other questions?
I just had a question. The link that you have on the slide is different for the Discord than the one in the chat. Which one should we be using?
It shouldn't matter. They should both link to the same thing. I probably accidentally created one of the Discord links to expire in one day, which is why it's different. But both of them should work right now. If you try and join and one of the invites says that it's expired, just reach out to the email and we will get back to you with a modern link.
Great, thanks.
No problem. Any other questions? Am I seeing, okay, the chat is just people saying F. Okay, I was wondering if someone was asking a question in the chat. Okay, is that everything? Any more questions? We can wait for you. I'm going to assume that's everything. All right. Thank you everyone for coming. We really appreciate you all taking time out of your day to be here. And yeah, it's been great to have you. We hope that you guys come to some of our workshops and stay active in this organization. We know it's been a rough semester. But yeah, that's everything, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.